Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is adult star, content creator, and a hell of a one at that, the one, the only Mr. Karissa Koxx. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. First and foremost, folks, if you've not checked out Karissa doing her thing and many of her vids and many of her content, I gotta say, Karissa, very hot, very sensual, and just all around great art forms. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. So, first and foremost, the greatest part of the adult entertainment industry is the fact that it's an art form, much like any facet of life. So, I got to ask you, what kind of gravitated you towards the adult entertainment industry, the content creation side of things? What kind of got you into it?
Well, I've always been a super sexual person. So that was not like a huge stretch. And then my husband and I actually just celebrated our 25th anniversary. So we've been together for a long time. And we got into the lifestyle 5 years ago, maybe somewhere around there. So it wasn't really a huge leap, going from lifestyle to content creating. But I've shared, previously that I went to AVN's last year as a guest of another creator just to kind of help her out. And people started asking me like, oh, let's work together. And I was like, whoa, and then I was, of course, texting and calling my husband about it. And then I came home after AVN's and in February, I just celebrated my 1 year for the anniversary or, in the industry. So I just was like, what the heck? I don't have anything to lose. I'm a bored stay-at-home housewife. So why not?
I look at it from a stance like this too. I think even as we evolve and revolve as people and as adults, we're always hypersexual and we get to experiment and do what we think as far as preference goes, which makes us really as unique as people. I love that you also brought that up because the sensuality side, the everything that goes into it, especially within your scenes, I think it's a nice transition and it's also a nice, great eclectic side of you that we really get to see. And plus, who doesn't love a good voluptuosity factor mixed with sexiness and pure raw passion,
Yeah. Yep. I'm enjoying it. Like I love what I do. So it's been really fun for me.
I bet. And I look at it from a stance too as well. Like I think probably one of the most important things when it comes to adult content and just making that content, not only the presentation side of things, but I look at it as far as like being safe and spectacular, applying your craft in safe and spectacular fashion, because testing is one of the biggest things that goes into it, man. You have to be safe and you have to do it in spectacular fashion.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I am really, obviously I'm married. I would be really strict about testing anyhow, but I have to think about more than just myself, right? I have a husband at home. So testing is like, if you're one day passed on a test, we're not working together. Like you have to be in your 14-day window. And there are creators who are like, oh, I'm okay. Like if you're okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not okay. Like we don't do that here. A, it's a bad precedent to set, and B, it's just not safe. So yeah, testing is huge. And I think people don't realize that, like outsiders who just watch our content, they don't realize how safe we actually are in the industry.
I look at it like this, and I'm glad that you brought that point out as well, my friend. I look at it like this. In today's day and age, where the adult content creation is more normalized than it was back in the day being taboo, you have the addition of OnlyFans, ManyVids, Fansly, Loyal Fans, all these great communities and all these great sites. I look at it like this. When it comes to testing and stuff, people always have that mindset. It's really how you look at everything, right? Through the right lens, that being the eye. So I look at it like this. It's one of those things where in today's day and age, people just see porn for just like the sex side of things, but in actuality, what you see in front of the camera, behind the camera, it's a whole production, it's a whole presentation. And I think people don't really look at the layers and levels that really go into this.
Oh yeah. I do think obviously people only see what we put out, and that I always laugh and say that's the easy part. Like those 20, 30, 40 minutes shooting that content is the easiest part of the business. It's the rest of the stuff they don't see, all the behind the scenes things. Like they think it's just a boom, you're done. And it really is a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely. And I look at it like this too. I always say, if you don't like what you're doing, then why do it? But at the same time, too, when you're gravitating towards this field, especially when it comes to adult entertainment and being sexy, and really it's just you, but with the character turned all the way up, you're amplifying yourself for the scene and amplifying yourself for the production and the presentation. So I've always admired the fact of what we get to see on camera also kind of is another extension of what we see with the human being. And you certainly, in your line of work with what you're doing with your films, you certainly add that to your extension.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'm not one to like ever be a fake or like keep a persona up. So I went into this basically, I am the same person as my government name as I am as Karissa Koxx. You just get to see the Karissa Koxx all over the internet. Like I'm literally the same person because I could never have kept up like something I wasn't. I'm really a mom. I'm all those things. And so I really am who you see, other than my name is different.
First and foremost, I got to say that tugs on
Yeah.
the heartstrings because family is everything, number one, but also number two, authenticity and genuinity really goes a long way in life. And I put it to you like this: everything that we do, especially in life, we're doing it to the best of our abilities, no matter what we are. We're many things to many people, but as long as you're creating the moments and memories, and then the moments and memories that to be created, that makes it all worth having at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I look at it like this. Speaking of what's worth having, we got to talk about this. Shout out to Intimately Pocket Pussy, man. I did see you promote that on your social media. Let's talk about it, man. How cool
Yeah, they reached out and asked if I wanted to collab, and so I said yeah. So they're out there. Yeah, that's really mine. It's pretty cool how they make them. So yeah.
that's a great honor. I mean, you mentioned the AVNs, and we'll get to Exotica here in a second, but there's so many events, there's so many collaborations, and especially in today's day and age with how networking has become so popular, that's got to be great just to see even that little small intent of just like how great that is an integral detail of the vaginal area, but also at the same time, you're really getting it out there. That's a nice little form of promotion for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited it's out there. Yeah, it's I never thought, like, if you'd asked me a year and a half ago if my vagina would be for sale, that would never have been on my bingo card for sure.
Well, I will say this, and what we get to see from the real and authentic side of things, it is awesome. If you guys have not checked it out on the social media, please do, because it's another great extension of the one Miss Karissa Koxx here. And I will say this, let's put this into the forefront here. You come from AVNs, and now we got Chicago Exotica coming up. How excited are you get to see the community, get to see the fans, and just network with a whole bunch of people?
I'm actually super excited. So when I was at AVNs, I was having some issues with one of my new breast implants. So I didn't get to shoot any content at AVNs. My doctor put the squash on that because I had to go back to Florida for surgery at the beginning of February. So I'm excited for Chicago because I actually am getting to shoot new scenes because I have worked really hard. My fans get a new drop every single week ever since I've been in the industry. So I work a lot and hard to make sure that that's always out there. Every single Thursday on my sites, there's a brand new scene. And so going to Chicago, I think I have 21 scenes scheduled from Wednesday to Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to be a busy girl. Plus I'll be on the floor. Plus I'm doing some photo shoots. I have an interview or two. So I am going to be busy at Exotica.
Well, as they say, the grind never stops. And I think it's another way of just being positively proactive, really putting yourself out there along with your name and your brand. I think that's wonderful. First and foremost, also have a fun time and safe travels to you.
Yes, man. I'm excited. I haven't been to Chicago since I was a little kid. So I'm excited to go back to the city.
Well, I will say Chi-Town is definitely where it's at. If y'all have never been, definitely go out of your way. It's very fun. It's a very nice eclectic space. It's a really nice way for everybody to really travel and go to if you've not ever been there, folks. It really is. And I will say this, the travel and the grind never stops. And Miss Karissa Koxx, you never stop. Let's put this into fruition here. We'll get into your films here, but god dang it, man, the imagery that you provide, especially from St. Patrick's Day, man, you had the nice little vibe too with the lingerie. Yeah. Very sexy, very nice. That was a beautiful photo.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I am. Yeah. I mean, it's so fun to do those things. Like in the beginning it was hard for me, but now I'm just embracing it and having fun, taking those photos and doing that stuff and, making reels for Instagram, making TikToks. Like, it's fun. And so I'm enjoying it.
I think there's also what I love about what you just said there, the fun and entertainment and joy, and especially we see it on your face, which I love wholeheartedly. I look at it like this. There's always a bigger picture to this, and I look at it from a stance too. If people can look at that imagery, that gravitational pull, so to speak, and people can gravitate towards you, look at your work, look at your photos, that's a huge thing, man. And also you're empowering a lot of young women who want to get into there. So there's a lot of different layers to how we evoke emotions and elicit reactions.
Yep. Yep. And I hope to be a positive role model. And to, like, I'm one of those people, if what I'm doing is not hurting anybody, nobody's opinion matters to me, besides my husband. So, and I wish that more people could live their lives that way, because they'd be a lot happier, not worried about what other people thought about what they were doing. And so I like to, be out there doing that. Like, my kids are all adults. They all know what I do. And they're fine with it. Actually, my son and I just were at a concert and we were dancing. And I said, "Hey, bud, can I post that video of us dancing?" And he's like, "Are you going to pay me?" So my kids are totally fine with what I do. And so I just hope that me putting my authentic self out there helps other people know, like, hey, it's okay to be who you are. There might be some background noise, but you need to stay true to yourself to live a truly happy life.
I have to say, first and foremost, much love to you and your family on that front. That is absolutely wonderful. And I mean, I look at it like this, having the right support system in today's day and age, and I completely agree with you. I think people in today's day and age need to be more open-minded. We're in 2025, for God's sake. So I always look at it from a stance too as well. Much like you said, if you're not hurting anyone, that's the main thing. And number two, I think if you're staying on your path and staying par for the course and really going on this journey that is this thing called life, I think you're golden, man. So I think that's a great mentality to have.
Yep. And I really wish more people didn't care so much about what other people thought,
I'm right there with you. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too, as like I mentioned, and I think I've heard this quote and it's always stuck with me, how life in itself is an art form and we're all applying our crafts. So naturally what we're doing with anything that we do in life, we're kind of painting our canvases, if you will. You know what I'm saying? We're just painting our canvases.
Yep. I agree.
And I will say this, one of the other things besides painting the canvases of great lingerie and St. Patrick's Day with your attires, ma'am, I got to say, let's put this into the forefront. What I love about your films, very creative. Number one, we've seen you going on there with people like Samaj, people like Jimmy Cartel, like a lot of people that we get to see from Johnny Cartel to Samaj. I love the storylines of going in there and like, hey, helping your son make the team with the basketball team or doing like a couple swap. The storylines are creative. The build is there. I got to say, what you've been doing on those fronts, I love the creativity.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can't take credit for all of those storylines. Like the couple swap, that's all Doc. But that was such a fun scene to shoot. So Doc and Charlie and Jason and I were all lifestyle. So we all have like a good connection anyhow. And so that was such a fun scene to shoot. It was really a blast. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm not big on, or like, I don't want a heavy story because let's be real, everybody just wants to see the meat and potatoes, right? So, we try and have something. I actually just shot a scene on Sunday here at home with a younger gentleman, and it turns out he went to high school with my older daughter.
Wow.
So super small world. Yeah, he was a year older than her. But yeah, so he real life is one of my kids' friends. So, like, who knew? But yeah, so I mean, I do storylines, but not productions generally, just because if I watch porn, I don't need the storyline for the most part, so I try and get you right into the stuff you really want to see.
That
So
absolutely, I absolutely concur with you on that. Like, and for me, I think there's a healthy balance to anything, right? But I think with porn, it's like when you're younger, and I'll put everybody's images into perspective here. You look at Cinemax, right? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Here's a scene with Willow and her and his wife Nicole Sheridan, right? And they go into the scene. There's not much storytelling, but you know where they're going, and it leads to that hot, passion, raw lovemaking session, and that's where you need to go. So I think the way you ooze right into it, and you kind of just have that slow burn to it, that really makes the moment in itself.
yeah, I agree. Yep.
And I will
So
say, no, I'm right there with you. And I think what I love about it too, as well, is when you watch a film of any sorts, and I say this wholeheartedly with the utmost respect to you, Mrs. Karissa Cox, I love the fact that you could tell when you're on camera, you love what you're doing, and it shows through your work. And that is what makes films so worth having to watch, but also excellent in the process.
yeah, I do love it actually. And I usually like who I work with, I kind of vet them first. I don't generally just work with like a random content creator. And I will, most of the time, if I've never met them, I'll do like a FaceTime call to kind of just see if we vibe. Because yes, I could fake it on screen if there was no like connection or vibe, but I feel like then my fans would see that. So I really try and work with people who I vibe with and I'm attracted to, because then it makes it authentic. Then I can really be into the scene and be like, damn, you know. And so for me, that's, I've kind of stuck to that through my year in the business, and it's obviously working because it comes across, as you said, that it's authentic.
It's accommodation and comfortability. And I love how you brought this up, because I think how you speak with someone, you just don't want to go in there like you don't really know them, like it's a rando type of vibes. I think accommodation, comfortability, because you want to build that rapport, build that relationship, so to speak. And that's what makes not only the scenes worth having, but the working relationship behind the scenes have it, because you built the trust, you built the confidence, and you build a lot of things within said person that you're working with. And that is very keen in everything that you do.
No, I agree. And I mean, for us as females, we're going in a lot of times. Like if I travel, my husband travels with me, and he films for me when he can. But you know, as a female, you're going in to some stranger's house and you're in the most vulnerable situation. So I think it's smart. And for anybody coming into the industry, always do your homework, you know, because you don't want to get yourself into a bad situation. So I think I just go that extra mile so that I know them at least on a surface level before I walk through the door.
And I think that's very smart on your end. And I got to say, shout out to all the beautiful ladies out here, including this one right here. I look at it like this: you always want to be with the right person at the right time and the right moment. And I think you being aware of your surroundings, so to speak, which leads to where you are this tenure in your career thus far, I think that also does wonders for a lot of people. So much kudos and love to you on that front.
Yeah.
And I will say this first and foremost as well. Let's talk about Hot Wife Bree and MILF Mandy. My goodness gracious. Watching the scenes, prepping for this, and even before that, I got to say, you three, great chemistry, great synergy, great hotness. Talk about working with these two, because y'all are just dynamos.
Well, MILF Mandy and I, and Hot Wife Bree, we've known each other for, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years, through the lifestyle here in Arizona. So, we're friends outside of that. We've done, the three of us have done photos together, and then Bree and I have never shot a scene together. She kind of has been on a break, really. Since I got in the industry, she was kind of on a break from filming. And then she just got started filming again like the last month. And then I was out because I had surgery. So we've never actually filmed a scene. But Mandy and I have a series going called the Hot Wife Chronicles, because we are both hot wives in the lifestyle. And so that's been really fun. I think we've shot 5 of those. And that's been a really fun time. And it's funny because we knew each other through the lifestyle and we had never played together. And so the first time her and I got to actually play together was a scene with Jay Black. And so it was really fun, and it was hard because, you know, when you shoot a scene, you do a lot of the stuff you have to make sure the camera catches it, right?
Right.
So like if you're eating a girl out, you want to make sure that there's angles and stuff. So it was really hard. Like I was on her face and giving Jay a blowjob, I think, and she just pulled me down into her. She's like, they can't see me anyways, because it had been so long. We'd met at parties and all this, and it just never happened. And so the first time we actually got to play was on camera. So that's been fun. Yeah. I mean, and it's fun when you have girlfriends in the industry because they're the ones who understand where you're at and things you're doing. So it's really nice to have those friends.
First and foremost, shout out to both Milf Mandy, Hot Wife Bree, and Jay Black. First and foremost, Jay Black is another great creator in the Spell.
Love him.
I gotta say, first and foremost, I'm glad that you're spreading the love because I too, man, if you have the right angle of the dangle, so to speak, with what you're doing with your production, and him as well, I know exactly what you're talking about from that scene. Great, passionate scene. And I always love the fact that I also have to add this to your repertoire here. It's just so fun just to see, again, the chemistry, the synergy, but god dang it, man, everything would fit everything into there. There's a psychology to everything, and god dang it, y'all really did the thing with the synergy in that film.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Jay and I have great chemistry. We've shot 4 scenes together, maybe 5, 4 or 5. We've shot quite a few together, and actually it must be 5. I think we're at 5 for Jay and I, and those are some of my best sellers. So I enjoy working with him, and he's just a great human.
I think what I love about it too, as well, is I see so many people, and it makes me smile, including yourself in these sentiments. I think in today's day and age where we talk about the normalization in the community, there's a lot of great people in this community doing their thing. And I have to put over your imagery once more. We mentioned St. Patrick's Day, but you can rock the lingerie. You can rock a little office attire as well. I got to say, everything that you're putting from the photo shoots and the shoots, I love it. I dig it. It really has a nice little effect and a nice little aesthetic to your style, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try and stick to who I am. If I don't like what it looks like, it's coming off.
But I think what I like about it too, as well, is that really makes me smile. You look at your pop culture realms, right? And you look at your surroundings. You take a little bit over here and you add your little flavor to it, so to speak. It's like when Britney Spears first came out with Baby One More Time. You had the nice little schoolgirl attire, the teachers, what have you. Everybody has a nice little aesthetic to really kind of get off to and kind of make their own. So it really does have a nice little eclectic aesthetic to it, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I try to give the fans what they want, but stay true to me.
Absolutely. And I think you are succeeding on all levels.
Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. I think even for someone who's been in a year, and I love asking this question as well because pearls of wisdom, what has been some of the takeaways that you've really learned thus far, even getting into the adult entertainment industry after a year, which, by the way, number one, happy anniversary on both spectrums.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. But that's wonderful, man. Even thus a year in, what are some of the takeaways you've gotten from it?
That it feels like a family if you find the right group of people. It's not a competition amongst us, amongst the other creators. We all want to see each other succeed. And of course, me being new, I've had some people who, have been in for years kind of take me under their wing and help me. And so, I mean, I was really fortunate though coming in. Like I said, I had, Mandy, and then I had another friend, Addison, and then Eliza Ray, who's retired now. We've been friends for almost 20 years. So coming in, I kind of had a little leg up. So I won't say it's probably as easy as it was for me if you don't know people. So I definitely, that was made it super easy. But I just think like the industry is not all like people think, oh, porn stars. I think they think back to like, I don't know what years they were, the 70s, the 80s, when everybody was just partying crazy, in porn. And it's not like that. It's not, we are sober on set. People don't do things like that when they're shooting. I think that's a huge misconception that everybody's just like some cracked out people in order to get on film and do what we do. But that's the furthest thing. What other takeaways? It's a grind. That's another takeaway for sure. It's not just an easy peasy thing. It's a nonstop thing. Like I have a team now that helps me do things. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So don't just jump in thinking it's easy because it's not.
I have to say, you kind of made me smile again on this because, again, beautifully said and eloquently said, and please adhere to those sentiments from Miss Karissa Cox. I look at it from a stance like this. You mentioned the 70s and 80s. Everybody has always kind of deemed the 80s as far as porn and adult content as like the golden age of it. But I'm like, if you really analyze, dissect, and decipher it, there was a lot of drugs going on. There's cocaine, there's drinking, there's everything that is known to men in the 80s. But as we evolve and revolve, especially as people in today's day and age, like you mentioned, very much sober, very much in tune with the testing and everything. So we've really come a long way, so to speak, with how we really view it and act and partake in it.
I mean, I was a child in the
Right.
80s, so
Fair enough.
I mean, I remember walking out and Playboy Channel be on in my living room as a kid, or my dad's Playboy's under the bathroom, So, but I just remember, I've heard
Right.
stories obviously about the porn in the 80s. So yeah, but I just, it's not like that. It's not, I mean, and not to say there's probably not people who do some of that stuff. I just haven't come across them in my sphere. I mean, of course we all let our hair down when we're done working, which is totally fine, but during work time, it's work time.
All right, so now you're taking it back to us as youngins here. I'm going to even throw this out. So as a kid born in the 90s, I equate to that with the 80s because I was a child. I mean, you had the internet babes of the years like the Jenna Jamesons and the Pamela Andersons, and you had like the porn at that time. But yeah, it's very good. Now, mind you, the scenes and everything, but it's really evolved to what we are now. Like we mentioned, the OnlyFans in the community. But yeah, there was always that aesthetic there. So I agree from 80s, 90s. So there's a lot of everything from the evolution of it. I hear you.
Yeah.
But I will say this, folks, when it comes to evolving and it comes to great people, there's a lot of good ones in the industry. And you, my dear friend, are absolutely one of them. And I wish you nothing but continued success moving forward.
I appreciate that. I try.
No, you're very welcome. I got to say, let's put this into the forefront as well. I got to say, within your films, and we mentioned some of the great ones and the great people you worked with, but if you could give me like the hot mom, like you mentioned, the hot mom in the lifestyle, and just like doing what you do, take the son's friend to the hotel or what have you. We mentioned the storylines. It works, and you play it well. You absolutely play it well. That's what I dig. If you play the character
thank
well,
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm, yeah. That's what I do. Yeah.
But that's the thing too, and I think that market, because we mentioned everybody is so unique with their preferences and what they like, because there's an audience for everybody. But that's just the stingent right there. That is the main focal point, is who doesn't want to be with the hot mom, and then boom, it works perfectly. And it's an adage of time. It's like the old overall adage of what porn really is and adult content is. It's that hot real deal sex appeal type of vibes to it.
Yep, I agree.
And I will say this, as far as everything that goes, Exotica is going to be great, folks. Check out Karissa Coxx and so many people there, and just a great community, like we mentioned, in family, because you cannot beat family. And Miss Karissa Coxx, I will say this before we close this thing out. I'd love to have you back for a round 2 after Exotica. It's been a pleasure picking and telling your story.
Yes, let's do it. That sounds like a plan.
I got you. And I will say, folks, if you have not followed Karissa on the social media front, Karissa, where can we follow you? The floor is yours. Go right ahead.
Well, I am on all sites, but the easiest thing to do is go to my website, and you can go anywhere there. I'm actually on every platform: Loyal Fans, Fansly, OnlyFans, ManyVids, there. And then my website is just www.KarissaKoxx.com, and it's KarisssaKoxx. So just KarissaKoxx.com, and that will take you to my Instagram, my X, and all my spicy sites.
I will say spicy indeed and beautiful as all hell. So definitely go out of your way and follow Miss Karissa Coxx. And another question I do have to ask you before we do our sign-offs here, ma'am. We mentioned the takeaways that you've learned, but I think what's great about today's day and age, you never stop learning. You always continue to adapt and grow as a human being. There's so many women out there now doing their content creation side of things. So for you, for women who are on the come up, and as someone who's done this a year thus far, what advice would you give them who want to get into the industry, that content creation? What advice would you give to the young ladies?
Reach out to people who are already doing it and ask for help. because most everybody's willing to give you some advice and to kind of, and some will even, hold your hand and take you through it. But when you reach out for the love of all things holy, have a whole email, not just a hey. Like when you're an X message, please say what you need or what you're asking in the first message, because people are more apt to respond because they don't feel like you're wasting their time. So don't just send a little hi. Yeah.
Ma'am, I got to tell you something. You've been pulling on my heartstrings through this entire show. No, we're going to talk about this because you just got me right here. I mean, folks, and I love doing what I do. I work with people of all facets of life, and this woman absolutely right here getting to message you is an absolute joy. I'm just going to say that the wholeheartedly there. But, ma'am, I love that you brought this up, because when I message people for shows, that's something I take a big part in. Not just hey or hi, it's hello, here's what I do, here's my websites, this is what we're going to talk about, let's do this, boom. It's all about, collaborating. It's a collab thing, but professionalism and decorum is key. I hate the hi and the hello to it, or the hey. It's just like, no, hello, properly introduce yourself, let's go. That's so key in everything. I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm sorry, but that got me right here. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I don't know if people are just nervous, so they're maybe afraid of rejection, and so they don't want to like put it all out there. But I can tell you, those hays and highs just sit generally for me. Because I don't have time to go back and forth. Like, if you're serious, just tell me what you like. Do you want to work with me? Do you want to do photos? Like, what do you want? That way I don't have to ask so many questions. So yes, it's just and it's okay if somebody doesn't respond to you. They might be busy. You might not fit in their brand. It's not personal. Just move on to the next person you're interested in, because we're not for everybody. My brand does not fit with everybody, and I know I don't fit everybody's brand, and that's okay. It's not personal. This is a business.
Beautifully and eloquently said. I think that's one of the best things my parents ever told me in this thing called life, is that treat everything as a business. And I got to say, much love to the family and much love to everybody that adheres to that mindset. Because, folks, at the end of the day, we're business, we're creators, and we're just people loving what we do and applying our crafts in amazing fashion. So as I always say to end each one of these shows, life is an art form. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And Miss Karissa Koxx, do you have any final words for the fans? Do you have any final words for the peeps?
No, I just hope that I see you come over to my sites, and I hope to see everybody at Exotica. I'm super excited for that. I'm really excited to get to interact and meet the fans on the floor, and I'll be on the floor every single day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So lots of time to come out and meet.
Definitely go out of your way and say hi to this lovely human being right here and the many great people that you get to see at Chicago Exotica. And, folks, as I always say to end each and every one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Miss Karissa Koxx, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.